Hello and welcome to the Art of Impactful Self-Promotion, a show where you can learn from industry leaders to find out how they built their expert brands. I'm your host, Crystal Covington, and I'm here with Mandy McEwen, founder and SEO consultant at Mod Girl Marketing. She's a marketing maven with a real talent for helping businesses increase profitability through inbound marketing techniques. She is the woman to I can't talk, but she is the woman to talk with when it comes to upping your digital presence. I'm so glad to have you here today on a day where I am stumbling over every word.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome.
Awesome.
Great. Well, let's start by telling us a little bit about yourself and the work that you do.
Okay, so yeah, I've been involved in digital marketing for about a decade now, which makes me seem pretty old, but I started early. So I started out, in SEO, and then, as you know, the crazy internet is a lot more than SEO now with social media and content and all of that. So eventually I built a team of awesome experts, and now we are a full service inbound marketing firm. We relaunched our website recently, so we're really focused now on healthcare and technology. And yeah, we pretty much do it all as far as inbound goes. So SEO, blogging, social media, a lot of consulting and user experience, analytics, pretty much everything that a company would need to increase their presence and make more money online.
Nice. So you are definitely very niche. So I want to know what inspired you to choose the niche that you're in. How did you get here? Was there one time you're like, bam, this is it? Or was it a series of events that led you to this place?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. So advice for new entrepreneurs is to probably focus in on an industry early on. That was a mistake that I made, which I should have done a long time ago, but it's allowed me to have a very, very wide range of experience as far as industries go. But, when I started out, I pretty much was taking on, like most, startups, anything I could find, any business owner that needed help. I was like, sure, I can help, and that's because I needed business, obviously, but as time went on and I've got to work with so many different industries, and I was in the home improvement industry for a while and real estate for a while. And honestly, it was just, they were referrals or, people that found me and I needed to grow my business. So I said, yes. Obviously Mod Girl is 5 years old now, even though I've been doing it for longer. So I've had enough time to build up, a client base and kind of get an idea of what we like working with. And honestly, healthcare, kind of same situation, just like referrals, random leads, I said yes to, and then I was like, oh, this is awesome. I love healthcare. I love helping them out there. The people that we work with in healthcare, we all get along with really well. They don't try to micromanage us or argue with us about things they think they know more than us about.
Yeah.
Yeah, got that plenty of times before. So, and then my team also just loves it, and so it was just one of those things that once we started doing more, we were just like, okay, this is where it's at. And technology is kind of like obvious because we're kind of a technology company too, so we work with other marketing agencies, other web design firms, and then of course software companies. But I feel like because we are a tech firm, we naturally are like, drawn to other technology firms, whether it's software or whatever the case is. So that's kind of why. Those two.
Totally makes sense. And I know you talked about this just a second ago, and you talk about it a little bit on your website. I saw that you talk a lot about building your reputation through referrals.
Mm-hmm.
So early on, before you had such a great referral base, what were the things that you did to start building that reputation?
Definitely networking, in-person networking. So I live in California now, but I started my business in Kansas City from Kansas. So I was a hustler, man. I was just out there hustling. That's all I can say straight up, like cold email to start. So I would just offer like free SEO services, like a pay for, performance basically, like, hey, I can get you on the first page. Don't have to pay me anything until I do it, and then you can pay me, So that was one. And then of course, like once I did it and it worked, they would tell their business owner friends. And then the other is just seriously getting out and networking. So I was really immersed in the Kansas City networking. group, if you will, of business owners and other solopreneurs. And so I would literally every week I was going to networking events, just meeting people, talking to people. And that's pretty much how I got Mock Girl started, was just traditional old school networking, Yeah. And then of course that transpires to online networking, but that takes some time to build up, So when you're first starting out and you're on a budget, which I was, I didn't have investors, it was me, starting my business. There was very little money involved to start it. So when you're on a shoestring budget, you got to hustle. So that's what I did, just talking to people, went from there.
That's such huge advice. I actually had somebody come to me recently and they said, okay, so tell me how you built your business. When did you start doing the videos? How many videos did you start doing right away? And, what was your email marketing campaign? I'm like, so when I started my business, I went to every networking event in town and I asked everybody to get involved. And they're like, really? I said, yeah, that's exactly what I did. I know it doesn't look that way.
Right.
But that's where it begins.
Yep. Totally. I mean, that's the best advice I have when people are like, how'd you do it? Talk to people, network, be genuine, and want to help people, and it'll come around eventually. Connect with the right people. And it's kind of a numbers game too,
Yeah.
And even with cold emailing, which, it works too. It's just really a numbers game.
Yeah. So what are some of the pitfalls you've had along the way? I know you've had to have had some.
We could talk for hours about pitfalls. Girl, just saying. Oh, where to begin? One, being a young female, that was probably my biggest. People not being like, oh, who is this chick? Yeah, right. She doesn't know shit about SEO, So especially when I was young. I was early 20s when I started this, So that was probably the number one pitfall. And, if at the time, now there's a lot of SEO gals out there. At the time, I didn't know any. All of them were males. Everyone I was learning from was a dude, okay? So that right there, instantly, when I'm surrounded by SEO gurus that are all males, well, there's one against me. And then the fact that I was 22, well, there's another. So it's like, God, this is tough. So that was one. The second one, honestly, was probably when growing my team, hiring, firing, knowing who to trust. That was probably the second one. And then we won't even talk about just clients and personalities and all of those choices that could go on and on. But a product I want to release this year actually is a course on hiring, just for anyone who's wanting to hire freelancers, because I've been doing it for so long and I've hired so many people that I'm pretty much an expert at it now. And people are like, I can't believe you just hire someone in a day and trust them with your clients. And I'm like, well, probably because I've hired a lot of people and fired a lot of people, So it's like an art, really. I mean, it's scary at first, but once you start doing it and know where to go and the questions to ask and what to look for. So I would say that was probably one of the toughest, especially starting out, is just finding reliable people that you trust, to work with you.
Yeah. I had a lucky first experience with a freelancer.
Really?
For somebody to do some artwork for me. And it was like, okay, I hope this $400 just doesn't go into the trash bin. And she was amazing. She was worth way more. But then I had some tough ones after that.
Again, that's another numbers game if you don't know what you're doing. But now it's like I rarely have any bad ones, thank God. Just because I know what I'm looking for now. But yeah, it's definitely tough, especially if you've never, if you're just starting a business and you need some help and you're like, oh, what do I do? And then it can be tough. So I would say that was another thing, is just building up a team of people that I trust. And then, of course, there's all sorts of pitfalls as far as clients go. But, just making sure it's the right fit, and expectations and proposals. And there's so much. But
yeah. So what are some of the consistent actions you take on a regular basis? Because I know you got to maintain all this. So how do you maintain the reputation that you have? I mean, is it something you do for your current customers that you continue building a relationship? Is there things you do? I mean, like getting interviewed places. What are your favorite things or the consistent things that you do to maintain your brand reputation?
Yeah, so I would say content. I mean, that's pretty much what I've known for. I started blogging back in the wild, wild west days of SEO. And so I've kind of built a reputation just around blogging in general. I've been blogging for once a week now for years. And so with that, of course, comes email marketing, my newsletter list, Twitter, keeping up. I would just say content, just letting, keep updating people with the latest and greatest online marketing trends and blogging and, just sharing it. And email is important too.
Yeah. So how do you get your stuff out there? So you create content. Do you do a lot of automation, or is it more like just blogging on your website and you're such an SEO expert, it just kind of gets out there? Do you use other techniques to get it?
Oh yeah, we use a lot. We love automation. So automation is my best friend. So, we use tools like Sprout Social and Hootsuite, and we use Hatchbuck for our CRM email marketing automation. And then we have OnlyWire is social bookmarking for our blog. So each time, it's onlywire.com. Each time I have a blog post, it automatically goes out to my social bookmarking sites, and then of course social media. And then we have some social promotion team. So there's a lot involved when it comes to blogging. It's not just I write a blog post and it's a process, but a lot of it is automated. So, it automatically posts to our social accounts, automatically social bookmarks, but then, we distribute it to our right team members, and then they promote it as well on social. And then because we've been doing this for so long, it just naturally picks up links from other websites, pretty much every blog post we put out there, because it's high quality, so people just pick it up, and then from there it just gets distributed out. So it's a little bit of work, but not a ton. Now, obviously in the beginning, if you're just starting blogging, then yeah, again, that comes back to hustling and emailing people that have relevant blogs, hey, will you link to my blog, or what do you think of it? So
yeah,
I think that too, if we have a particular we're probably getting ready to do actually. So if we have a blog post that we're really wanting to get some extra promotion for, what we'll do is we'll go out, we'll use BuzzSumo actually as a tool we use. So we'll type in whatever the topic is, say it's healthcare SEO blogging or whatever. And so we'll go and we'll look on BuzzSumo at the top 10 posts for the last year that have talked about that. And then we'll go to that post and then we'll email them. Be like, hey, we really loved your post. We have a similar one. Check it out. And if you like it, feel free to share or link back to it. So.
Oh, that is so smart.
Yeah, it works too. Definitely, especially if you have good content. And people do that to us all the time too. And so I'm getting infographics every day emailed to me because they found my blog post. And so that's another good way if you have an infographic you just created and you spent some time and money on it and you want to get it out there, that's the best way to do it, is just email bloggers that have a relevant blog post on it. And if it's a good infographic, more than likely they will share it.
Wow, that is an awesome tip. I've actually had somebody do that to me once. It was for something I don't want people to come to me for social media work anymore. So I was like, oh, well, thank you, but I'm not gonna. Yeah, but they were right. It was they found an old blog post of mine. They were like, this is relevant. Will you, I shared it, but I didn't want to do the further stuff they were asking me about.
Right.
That was smart of them.
Yeah, it works, definitely.
Yeah.
And social media too, Twitter. Twitter's really good for that too. So influencers on Twitter, industry influencers that, are active and have a decent following, just, mentioning them hey, whatever their handle is, I just, posted this blog or infographic. I think you might find it helpful. Check it out. So that's another way too, is Twitter, where you do some outreach there.
Yeah, that's my favorite spot because people are actually there and they're actually talking. So I can have conversations with people while watching Scandal.
Right? Love it. Twitter is definitely my go-to. I'm not a very having a company that focuses a lot on social media. Personally, I'm not a social media person, but yeah. I would say Twitter is pretty much the only thing I enjoy, and focus on a little bit. The other ones, not so much. But yeah, Twitter's awesome for outreach and stuff like that.
Absolutely. So what tips would you share for someone who hasn't yet established a brand for themselves and they want to get started? What are the first 1 to 2 things that they should really start focusing on?
So 1, make sure you have a viable brand that's going to make money. That's tip number one. Making sure that you have a plan of action, I guess I would say. Once you have that plan of action and you're for sure 100% that you can make it profitable and a business out of it, my second tip would be to get a basic online presence, so you don't have to go crazy here. Whatever you can afford on a budget, definitely a website is necessary, and at least one social media property. Even if that's another tip too, is like, you know, there's so many social networks out there, and yes, eventually you should have all of them. But when you're just starting out, focus on one. You know, like you don't need to have 6 social media accounts, because that's pretty much impossible to manage when you're a one-person show. You know, like it's just not.
You need a serious team to manage that.
Right. Yeah, it's just not realistic. So focus on one. You know, I'd say just focus on one, get a decent website, and then before you start blogging or hiring a ghostwriter, I would start networking like locally and just getting the word, and ask people what they think about your brand too. That's another tip, you know? And you do that, I guess, by networking and talking to people. Like, tell them what you're doing, what you're planning on doing, and how you plan on helping people, and then just get feedback, because you're probably thinking that one thing you're going to do is awesome, and maybe you tell someone about that and they're like, no, you should probably do this instead, or maybe you should add this, and, you know, so just talk to people and get feedback.
Yeah, that was great. The piece about, you said finding out if your idea is basically worthwhile in the first place, I think that hits it so much. Like when I first, one of my latest projects, Women of Denver, I actually, before I said, okay, well, I'm not going to do this unless I get, you know, and I had a number, unless I get this many people to pre-buy a full year worth of the program. Mm-hmm. So I got people on the phone. I said, this is what I'm going to do. This is who I am. These are my qualifications. If you want this program, sign up by August 1st and you get this awesome deal, which was time. I gave them time in the form of, you know, helping them with a video. And that was my promo deal. I'm like, okay, well, what can I give them? I can't give them a discount, but I can give them time. So I promised that. And then I sold the number that I needed to. And I said, okay, well, it's real. And if I hadn't reached that number, I was going to give them all their money back and say goodbye to the idea.
So it worked.
It worked. And that's a great way to find out is, you know, see if people are willing to prepay for it.
For sure. Yeah. That's a great, I mean, it's, you know, I hate to see people that get so involved in it and they don't even know if it's going to work. You know, they spend all this money and they have a brand, they pay money for a website and they launch it and they're like, oh wait, that's not, people don't really want this.
They built what they wanted.
Exactly. It happens a lot though, you know, I mean, so yeah, definitely a good starting point.
So awesome. Thank you so much for the amazing tips and wisdom you just shared with the audience.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Mandy, where can people find and follow you to learn more about the awesome stuff that you do?
Yep, so Twitter at Mandy Mod Girl is probably the best way, and then just modgirlmarketing.com.
Awesome. Is there anything left that you want to add before we go?
Nope. So we are, because of our new website launch, we are offering free mini website audits. So you can find that out on modgirlmarketing.com.
Great. Go get your audit. And you also have this really cool ebook. I think it's
a stupid simple social media tricks to boost your SEO. So that's actually new too. We just relaunched the newest version of that just recently. So check that out too. It's pretty cool.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. And always remember that you deserve to be seen, heard, and known. I'll see you again soon.